You remember when we used to sneak out when we were kids, and the whole time that we were out, all we could think about is our parents getting up? That's because we had a healthy fear of them. That's how having a relationship with God is. Once you have a healthy fear for the Lord, you're not gonna want to do certain things, and when you do it, you're gonna be too worried about God. You know, I was looking at my pages earlier. I was gonna delete all the funny content and all the just random stuff, but I decided not to. I decided to use it as a marker, a personal marker for me to see where I was at and where I am now. And I think it's like, you know, I definitely knew who God was and fully believed in Jesus prior to really coming to this realization, but I think it's just a matter of maturing in Christ and just maturing in my walk and my relationship. And I think a huge internal conflict that people that believe in the Bible are run into is salvation, and do your decisions and your actions determine whether or not you get to keep your salvation. And I was stuck in this phase for a while of being overwhelmed with my sin, and it just made me feel so less than. And I just kept hearing these voices in my head say, don't smoke, don't drink, don't cuss, don't commit fornication, don't do this, don't do that. And I'm like, dang. And I quickly realized that I'll never amount up to what God designed me to be. And that is the part I feel like people get stuck at. I think that's the cliffhanger where a lot of people end up turning away or just completely losing hope. And I think hope and faith are definitely, there's a parallel between hope and faith 100%. But that cliffhanger that people get stuck on of, I'm never gonna be good enough anyway. See, this is the thing about once you really get to understand the essence of God and his nature, you start to realize exactly how this worked and why there's two segments of time and why it's so important that Jesus died. So the main thing is that none of us will ever be able to uphold the law. None of us. The Bible actually says you were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. That means that you were sinning before you even knew what sin was. It's not up to you. It's the flesh. The world that we live in is fallen. It's a bad thing, but it gives us hope, ironically. Because of this fact, because God knew that none of us were going to be able to accomplish this, he came down in a man's suit and crushed sin himself. It's quite simple when you zoom all the way out instead of trying to piece it together. The difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament is that there's now a mediation between God's wrath and our sin, and that's Jesus. And the thing is, when you get saved, the Bible is very clear about the fact that by grace you've been forgiven, not by stop sinning. It doesn't say by stop sinning you've been forgiven. It says by grace you've been forgiven, now sin no more. See, here's how that works. Here's how that connects and why it's different. Because you don't get saved because you do good works. However, when you get saved,